You've been brainwashed, not by governments, not by secret elites, not even by cults. No, what shaped you is something far more ordinary, something far more dangerous. Your family, your teachers, your culture, and your own mind. From the moment you were born, you were absorbing, mimicking, adapting. Every look of approval, every punishment, every unspoken rule taught you how to behave. You learned what made people clap and what made them leave. You learned when to be quiet and when to smile. You learned how to hide yourself, just to fit in. And somewhere along the way, you forgot who you were before the world told you who to be. Now ask yourself, the way you talk, did you choose it? The goals you chase, are they really yours? The personality you present, did it grow from within? Or was it sculpted for you? Look closer. The clothes you wear, the job you chose, the opinions you post. Did they come from your authentic self or from a long chain of shoulds, musts, and be like them? This isn't a conspiracy. It's a condition of being human. And it starts young, long before you had the power to question it. We live in masks, not to deceive others, but because we're afraid that our true selves are too much, too weird, too loud, too angry, too different. So we shrink, we shape, we conform, until one day we forget what we were shaping ourselves for in the first place. But here's the truth. You are not who you think you are. You are not your resume. You are not your Instagram feed. You are not the polite version of yourself you use to make life smoother. Beneath the surface, beneath the persona, is someone deeper. Someone real, raw, flawed, wild, whole. And the journey of becoming yourself begins with asking a dangerous question. If I wasn't afraid of judgment, who would I be? Jim had everything. The life people post about, the success others dream of, a high-paying job, a beautiful family, respect, a sleek car. His neighbors envied him. His colleagues admired him. His parents, proud. But every morning, as he adjusted his tie in the mirror, a voice whispered, "This is not you." He shrugged it off. He had made these choices, hadn't he? He worked hard, followed the rules, checked every box. This was supposed to be happiness, but the voice never left. It followed him like a shadow, during team meetings, dinners, small talk, and silent nights. Then one day it cracked. During a routine board meeting, someone told a joke. Everyone laughed, so did Jim. But in that moment, something broke inside him. Why am I laughing? Do I even find this funny? It hit him like a cold slap. He wasn't laughing because it was funny. He was laughing because it was expected. That's when the illusion shattered. He excused himself, walked briskly to the bathroom, stared into the mirror, and didn't recognize the man looking back. The suit, the smile, the eyes. It all felt like a costume, a performance he had rehearsed for decades. Jim had built a life that was perfect on the outside, but hollow on the inside. He wasn't living, he was performing. And the terrifying question hit, if I'm not this, then who am I? This was the beginning of awakening, the moment he realized that success without self is a prison with velvet walls. Carl Jung had a name for this mask we all wear, the persona. The persona is not a lie, it's a strategy, a survival tool, a performance. We start crafting it as children. Smile and they'll like you. Be quiet and they won't punish you. Don't cry, don't shout, don't say weird things. So we adapt. Bit by bit, we build a version of ourselves that's easier for the world to accept. We learn to wear masks to gain approval, avoid rejection, and fit in. Society rewards this mask. Job interviews prefer the polished. Social media celebrates the curated. Friends prefer harmony over honesty. Even family sometimes loves the version of you that causes the least disruption. And so, we become it. We become nice, reliable, agreeable, easygoing. But what do we lose in the process? We lose anger, even when it's justified. We lose desires because they're selfish. We lose truth because truth is messy. We lose the raw, wild parts that made us whole. And the danger? The longer we wear the mask, the more we forget it's a mask. We start to believe we are the role, until the day we snap, or break, or fall apart, without knowing why. You've worn your persona for so long, you no longer know where it ends and you begin. But Carl Jung reminds us, the persona is not the self. It is a facade, necessary, yes, but shallow. So here's the question. How many parts of yourself have you abandoned, just to be accepted? And what would happen if you took the mask off? Beneath the persona lies the shadow. The shadow is everything you suppress, everything you're ashamed of, everything the world told you was too much, too weird, too emotional, too loud. So you pushed it down. Anger, suppress it. Ambition, hide it. Sensuality, shame it. Vulnerability, mock it. But the truth is, suppressed doesn't mean erased. The shadow lives on in the basement of your mind, and it doesn't stay silent. It leaks in sarcasm, in envy, in passive aggression, in random outbursts you didn't mean. Ever wondered why certain people irritate you for no reason? That arrogant coworker, that attention-seeking friend, that overly emotional stranger online. The truth? You don't hate them. You hate that you're not allowed to be like them. Maybe you were punished for being bold, so now confidence triggers you. Maybe you were told to toughen up, so now others' vulnerability annoys you. The traits you resent are often parts of you that were exiled. Jung called this projection. When we disown parts of ourselves, we see them in others. But ignoring the shadow doesn't make it go away. It just gives it more power. Like a volcano, it builds until it erupts through sabotage, addictions, breakdowns, or inexplicable despair. The shadow is not evil. It's not your enemy. It's the part of you that's been screaming to be heard. And until you listen, you'll never feel whole. The persona pleases the world. The shadow protects your truth. And the war between them is what keeps you lost. Why do some people irritate you so much? Maybe it's the loud ones, the show-offs, the ones who crave attention, or the arrogant ones who walk into the room like they own it, or the emotional ones who cry too easily, feel too deeply, or share too much. But pause and ask yourself, why do they trigger you? Why do you feel that flare of discomfort, of judgment, of quiet rage? Carl Jung had an answer, one that few of us are brave enough to face. The things we hate in others are often reflections of the things we've buried in ourselves. That attention seeker? Maybe you were taught to stay small, to not take up space, and now you resent those who dare to shine. That overly emotional person? Maybe you were punished for crying, told to suck it up. So now others' vulnerability feels offensive. That arrogant voice in the meeting room? Maybe it reminds you of the confidence you've never allowed yourself to claim. You see, the world didn't just shape your persona, it also decided what parts of you were unacceptable. So you buried them. You hid your assertiveness, your sexuality, your ambition, your raw truth. But those parts didn't die. They became your shadow. And now, they haunt you through other people. Jung called this projection, when we see in others the very things we reject in ourselves. And here's the paradox. What you despise in others might be exactly what you need to reclaim in yourself. The boldness, the fire, the depth, the desire. Imagine how much energy you waste pretending not to care. How often you deny your hunger for more. More freedom, more power, more truth. Just because someone, somewhere once said, that part of you is wrong. But it wasn't wrong. It was real. It was human. And now, it's waiting for you to stop looking at others and start looking in the mirror. So next time you feel annoyed, jealous, irritated, don't run from it, study it. Because the trait you mock, the person you judge, might be holding the key to the version of yourself you've been too afraid to become. You can pretend it's not there. You can smile politely, say the right things, meditate, manifest, post inspirational quotes. But if you're ignoring your shadow, it doesn't disappear, it waits, and when the time is right, when your persona starts to crack. It breaks through in ways you can't control. In the words you didn't mean to say, in the angry outburst you couldn't hold back, in the relationships you sabotage over and over again, in the nights you drink too much, scroll too long, shut down too fast, in the creeping anxiety, the sudden depression, the emptiness you can't explain. Jung warned us, the shadow when ignored becomes destructive. Imagine a volcano, pressure building for years beneath the surface. No release, just more suppression. Until one day, it erupts. That's how it happens with people too. The kindest ones sometimes snap in rage. The most disciplined ones collapse in addiction. The most put together fall into breakdowns that no one saw coming. Because the more perfect your persona, the more pressure builds underneath it. Many of the most painful struggles we face aren't from the world outside, but from the war raging inside. A war between who we show and who we are, between the you that everyone admires and the you that's been exiled, unloved, unseen. And here's the truth. That hidden self, the messy, raw, emotional, angry, passionate, wild version of you is not your enemy. It's your truth. And it's tired of being locked away. Because until you let your shadow speak, it will scream. Until you make peace with it, it will poison your peace. It will twist your habits, infect your relationships, destroy your confidence, and whisper, "You don't deserve this," just when you're about to succeed. And all the while you'll wonder, why do I keep doing this to myself? You don't. Your shadow does. Not to punish you, but to wake you up. You were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to be whole. And wholeness only comes when light and darkness meet, when persona and shadow shake hands. So how do you break the cycle? How do you stop living as a mask and start living as yourself? Carl Jung called it individuation, the process of becoming whole. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about reclaiming the parts of yourself you've abandoned. The wildness, the anger, the hunger, the softness. The voice that once said, "This is me," before the world taught you to shut it down. Individuation is not comfortable. It's not beautiful. It doesn't happen in meditation retreats or perfect morning routines. It happens when you're triggered, when you lash out, when you cry for no reason, when you finally admit, "I'm not okay." And in that mess, you begin to see the pieces of your true self scattered and waiting. So where do you begin? Step 1, observe your persona. Ask yourself, who do I become around different people? What am I afraid they'll see if I show my truth? Then, step 2, meet your shadow. Make a list of people who annoy you and ask, what do they reflect about me? What part of me wants to exist but doesn't feel safe? Finally, step 3, integrate. Don't fight the shadow. Listen to it. Journal it. Paint it. Scream it into your pillow. Express what you've spent your whole life suppressing. Let the part of you you're ashamed of have a seat at the table. Because power doesn't come from perfection. It comes from integration. And here's a question, one I'd love for you to answer in the comments. What part of yourself have you been hiding from the world? What trait in others do you judge that might secretly live in you? Be honest. You might be surprised at what comes up. And if this video resonated with you, then maybe you're ready, not for more self-help, not for more performance, but for the terrifying, liberating, beautiful truth of your full self. So now I ask you, who were you before the world told you who to be? And more importantly, are you ready to meet them?